Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to the webinar, Grenada Citizenship for Indian Investors. I'm very happy to welcome you, and let me introduce myself. My name is Anastasia Yanni, and I'm the CEO of Global Citizen Advisory. Our company specializes in providing consultations and services for international investors looking for citizenship or residency by investment. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by Mariam Mansouri, Business Development Manager of Range Developers. They're our long-standing partners, the company that has proven track records of constructing luxury hotels in Caribbean islands. Mariam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Anastasia. And I'm very happy to be on this webinar with you and your investors. And likewise, we've enjoyed the long-term partnership with Global Citizen Advisory.
Today, we will talk about alternative citizenship, why is it important, and more specifically, we will discuss in details what can Grenada citizenship offer to Indian investors. But let's start with the first things first. What is citizenship by investment? Why is alternative citizenship popular? And why there are so many people looking for these programs. Currently, in the world, there are many programs that allow investors to choose either European or American or Caribbean programs. Citizenship or residency by investments are government-approved programs when the investor will invest in the economy of the country, and in return, he and his family will get citizenship or residency rights for their family. But why do people look for these options? The answer is very simple. Now, there are all people, they're looking for better options, for better future. So if you're looking to relocate your family to a different place, you can do it. If you plan to open a new business and provide better future for your children, you can do it. If you're worried about the safety and security, again, alternative citizenship and residency can give your family insurance against unknowns. If you're looking for investment, this is again an excellent opportunity. And I think these years we're all experiencing completely unprecedented situation when in 1 week the whole world closed. The world closed its borders and people could not travel, they could not move. All the countries reacted differently to the global pandemic. And more families started thinking, what if we were in different places? What if? What if? And that's why alternative citizenship is such a popular and such important subject. But today we will talk in great details about Grenada citizenship, and what are the benefits specifically for Indian investors. Why would you consider Grenada citizenship? What benefits, what solutions will it give to you and your family? We will talk in details about questions and answers, about practical solutions. I can promise you that it will not be a theoretical exercise. It will be very practical discussions with experts in the field. Mariam has been doing this job for more than 8 years, and she has helped hundreds of clients from all over the world. But to start with, let's go a little bit in the theory and let's talk a little bit about what is Grenada citizenship and what is important to know for the investors. Okay, so to start with, let's see, why Grenada? As I mentioned before, there are many countries in the world that offer investment migration options. Grenada is one of the most popular, and there are many reasons why. The main reason, excuse me 1 second, let me change. One second. So, the main reason is that Grenada citizenship allows you and your family to go and relocate to the United States via the E2 visa. So E2 visa to the US is one of the main benefits of Grenada citizenship. It also offers you long-term visa up to 10 years to the United States. Now, when the borders are open, we hope that we will all be able to travel all over the world. And Grenada citizenship is one of the very strong passports. It gives visa-free travel to over 144 countries, including very important countries such as United States, United Kingdom, all countries of the European Union and Schengen, China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Brazil. There is no need to stay on the island during the application process. There is also absolutely no requirement to reside in Grenada before or after citizenship. And quite important that information on obtaining citizenship is not disclosed. Other advantages are that you have the right to live and work in Grenada. Because we all care about our families, the citizenship option is acceptable and achievable to all the members of the family, and citizenship is inherited. The island has social and political security, and important to mention that it has fast processing times. Important to know who can obtain Grenada citizenship. As I mentioned earlier, it can be achieved to all the members, but also children up to the age of 30 years old. Parents on the main investor and the spouse. We all know that we want to provide this option not only to ourselves, but to all our family. What is very important as well, childless and unmarried siblings, brothers and sisters of the main investor and the spouse can also be part of the application. What are the criteria? The main investor has to be at least 18 years old. He or she should not be under any sanctions, should not have criminal record, and it's very important to be able to provide clean source of funds. The investment options are very clear and they are defined by the government. The investor can participate and can purchase shares in the hotel business worth $220,000, investment in approved real estate projects, investment for $350,000, or donation to the state, which is $150,000 or $200,000. So this is the theoretical part, which is very clear. We will provide all our participants with this important information. But what we can see from all our experience of working with investors, that the theory is one part, but everyone wants to know more. Everyone wants to know why and how and what are the steps and what are the things that we need to know. And who is the best judge? Of course, people who deal with it every day. So now I will be asking questions and Maria will be giving her experience and expert knowledge. Of course, please leave your questions. If for some reason the question was not answered during our webinar, we will answer all the questions at the end of our webinar. And let's start with the reason which most Indian investors quote as the main. Majority of our Indian investors consider relocation to the United States. It's a stable economy, it's the country American dream, and you can make your business and the family dreams come true. So let's talk a little bit about this subject. So is it correct that with Grenada citizenship, it is possible to relocate your business and your future to the United States?
Yes, it's 100% possible. The reason behind that, Anastasia, is that the island of Grenada has a E2 visa treaty with the United States. Now, there are not that many countries in the world that have that E2 visa treaty. There's around 70, 78 countries, such as the United Kingdom, that's one of them, Australia, Canada, and Grenada. So the E2 says that if you are a member, a citizen of an E2 treaty country, you can open a business of your choice in a city or state of your choice anywhere in the United States worth approximately $100,000 and above. This would allow you and your dependents to relocate to the US. Children get free public schooling. And when they grow a little bit older, they get in state tuition fees. Your spouse can work anywhere else in the US that she or he may please, while the main applicant manages their business of choice.
So again, because this is such an important subject, what you are saying that if you have Grenada citizenship, then you can move your family, you can start your business with a minimum investment, your children can get access to free education, and what is very important as well, that your wife doesn't have to work in your business, she can work anywhere she wants. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And can you please tell me, because it sounds so good that immediately we all think that it has to be difficult. Can you give us a little bit more information about the E2 visa?
Will do. And that's actually a very common assumption that people make, Anastasia. They think there must be a loophole of some sort. However, there isn't. E2 treaties are given by the United States to certain countries. These are based on friendships in the past, they're based on favors that were done before, and they're not immigration processes. They are consulate and embassy processes, which makes it so much simpler. Any of our Indian clients that is familiar with the EB5, the Green Card program, understands that when it's a USCIS process, meaning an immigration process, it's horrendous. And now the waiting list is around 6 to 8 years. The treaties, however, are consulate and embassy interviews. Because when you are a citizen of an E2 treaty country, the right of obtaining E2 has already been given to you via your citizenship. All you need to do as an investor is prove to them that you want to run an actual business. So, for example, buying real estate is not a business, it's a passive investment. It needs to be an actual investment it can range from a coffee shop all the way to a multi-million dollar corporation.
That sounds very good. And from experience, how long can it take for an investor after obtaining Grenada citizenship to complete all formalities and relocate to the United States?
The whole process for obtaining E2, starting from the legal work with the business plan all the way up to the interview, takes a maximum of 3 months and a minimum of 6 weeks.
And from our joint experience, you have a very good network of American lawyers who can provide full support for this process. Am I correct?
100%. When it comes to the E2 part, on the Grenada part, we are hotel developers. When it comes to the E2 part, we recommend at least 4 to 5 well-known US lawyers who have E2 experience. So not just necessarily US immigration, but US E2 experience. And they're all law firms that have done this successfully before. And just like Range Developments, they have a track record. So our clients are in safe hands.
Thank you very much for these questions. Let's talk a little bit more about Grenada itself. Because we work with this program, we have the list of common questions, and funny enough, the quite common question is, where is Grenada?
That is a very common question. First of all, it's not Grenada in Spain, as you pronounced it very correctly. It's Grenada in the Caribbean islands. It's part of the CARICOM. To give you a geographical estimation, it's around 3 to 4 hours flight away from Miami. That's the entire Caribbean region. The Caribbean to North Americans and Europeans is what the Maldives and Seychelles are to us on this side of the world. They're small luxury islands, absolutely beautiful. The most famous one that I think our clients might be familiar with is Saint Bart and also Barbados. So they're all next to each other.
The other question is that, okay, we are talking about citizenship, but we're talking about investment as well. So how is Grenada economic outlook? What economy is there? If I invest, is it safe?
Sure. In terms of the safety, politically as well as economically, it's extremely safe. Grenada, like the rest of the Caribbean, is a Commonwealth country. The Queen of England is their head of state. After that, there's three main sources of income for the Grenadians in Grenada. Their GDP is built on citizenship, obviously, because their citizenship is strong. As you mentioned in your presentation, it's got amazing global mobility, 144 countries just at the snap of a finger. So citizenship, and then it's also tourism. Tourism, basically hotels, the beauty of the island, the Caribbean cruises that come to the Caribbean is the second source of income, and it really, really contributes to their economy. And believe it or not, Anastasia, the third part of this equation is the St. George's University in Grenada. Now, a lot of clients might ask, so what makes St. George's University any different to millions and millions of well reputable universities that we have around the world? St. George's University provides a whole range of subjects. However, when it comes to the Americans that want to study medicine or non Americans that want to practice medicine in the United States, St. George's University becomes one of the only universities in the world where, if you graduate with a medical degree from St. George's, you can practice your residency in the United States the very next day.
This is a great point and a great attraction because, again, when you want to be a doctor, we all know that the cost of medical education in the United States is very high. So if you have an opportunity to study medicine at the fraction of a cost with the possibility to practice in the US, that's a great advantage that lots of people are not aware of. So thank you very much for mentioning it. And you make Grenada sounds exciting. So lots of people ask, can I actually relocate to Grenada? And can I work there?
Yes, 100%. Grenada is known as the Spice Island just because of its beauty and its natural resources. Now, when people ask us that question, it's very relevant because when you obtain citizenship by investment in Grenada, you are equal to a born Grenadian. You have every right that a born Grenadian has. The only thing that you cannot do is run for prime minister office, but that's the case all over the world. Even if you want to become the president of the US, you have to be born in the US. You can hold property, you can work there, your family can live there. I will go as far as telling you that you can vote. So for the next upcoming elections, a citizenship by investment candidate can vote for the next government and decide the fate of their country, which would be Grenada.
Thank you very much. This is very important and very useful information. And if someone has ambition to become the next Prime Minister of Grenada, you will need to hold it to the next generation of newborn Grenadians. The next question that comes quite often, and it's an important question, like what are the ways to get Grenada citizenship when you are an Indian? What is the correct way of doing it? How can you proceed without losing ties to your country? Are there restrictions? It's a very important question, and I would like us to go a little bit deeper on this subject.
Sure. In all the time I've spent in India, where pre-COVID it was 2 to 3 weeks every month, we have come across this question quite a lot. It's very significant to Indians not to lose ties with their country just because they want to relocate to another one. Acquiring a second citizenship, by the law of India, you would have to give up your passport and get an OCI card. By the law of Grenada, they allow dual citizenships. So we see a lot of our clients, Anastasia, that take on the Grenadian citizenship. The main aim is to get the American one at the end. This doesn't compromise that at all. However, when you get the OCI as an Indian, you are an overseas citizen of India. You are not a citizen anymore. It's a protocol, it's paperwork that has to be respected within every country and government. With an OCI card, you can go back to India. You don't need a visa. So when you get to the airport, a lot of our clients are familiar with this. It says Indians and OCI card holders. So you can go back to India. There's absolutely no issue. You can own commercial property. You can own residential property. You can own multi-different businesses in India, drive an income, have bank accounts. Nothing really changes. There's only 3 restrictions with the OCI card. One is you can no longer vote. 2 is you cannot run for PM office. And I mean, we don't have clients that want to run for the Prime Minister's office. Third of all, which is very, it's a sensitive topic amongst Indians, is you cannot acquire or inherit new agricultural land. So whatever you've inherited in the past, whatever you've bought in the past, or in case you're planning on doing that, a lot of my clients buy now and apply for their Grenadian citizenship after that. And bear in mind, it takes around 2 to 3 months. So during that 2 to 3 months, they buy their new agricultural land because what you have from before you take an OCI card is yours. After that, you can't acquire new. And the OCI card has been put in place for Indians that may one day want to take back their Indian citizenship. So once you have an OCI card, you can go back, or your next generation can go back and say, I'm of Indian descent and I have an OCI card. I want a passport again. And they give it back to them.
I think from our experience, we can see that these are all important questions because obviously you want to keep your property, you want to keep the ties with the country, and it's very important for all the investors to understand that this is possible. The second sensitive, not sensitive, but second practical question is actually, how do I pay for my investment? How long will it take me to pay for it, provided that I do have money? So I'm not asking the question like I'm saving the money. I have the money, but I need practical advice how to pay for the citizenship.
Sure. First and foremost, Anastasia, the chartered accountants in India have been extremely helpful with their clients when it comes to dealing with us for their second citizenship. So I would want everyone to revert back to their CA and have this conversation one more time before making a serious decision. However, the LRS in India allows every individual to send out $250,000 in every financial year. Now, when they get their process started with us, first and foremost, we only charge a 10% deposit, which is refundable in case anyone gets rejected, and a few government fees which go to the government, such as legal and due diligence and processing. This payment, so in order to start the process, the payment that they're looking at, an average family of four is looking at $45,000. After
Mhm.
that, they have to prove, obviously, that they're of good background. I will step aside a little bit here and say we take care of that entire process when it comes to legalities, paperwork, form filling, and so on and so forth. We take our client's hand all the way to the finish line. Now, 3 months later, this client that has paid $40,000 has received an approval from the government, meaning they've checked his background, they've done all the relevant due diligence, he's in the clear. Now, does he have to pay the entire amount through his own bank account and then limit his LRS activities for other things he has happening? No. He can pay himself partially, his wife can pay, his children can pay, his extended family members that are not a part of this application can also make a payment. So from the 250, he might say, you know what, this is 50 from me, so 100 from my wife, and another 100 somewhere else from my children, and that's it. An application that costs them around $310,000 is done and dusted. It leaves enough space for their other activities in case they want to purchase property outside the country. And it also leaves that little threshold for them to be able to establish their E2 business for around $100 to $150,000.
That sounds very clear. And I think that other important thing that not many people pay attention that you already mentioned, but I want to say it once again, that when you start the process, there is no need to pay upfront. It's one of the few countries where you pay the majority of your investment only after the citizenship is approved. Please confirm that this information is correct.
Yes, 100%. There's a small token payment upfront, there's a refundable deposit upfront. However, 90% of your investment is paid after you get your approval.
Mhm. That's very important. And one more thing, because now we living in the new world with restrictions of traveling, with restriction of borders, is it possible to do everything online? Or do the investor need to travel anywhere to start the process?
Before COVID, they still didn't need to travel or reside or visit the island. However, some of the documents we used to receive via DHL in hard copy, such as a police certificate clearance. Now, the unit has been lovely. They got on board very, very quickly, and they've turned the entire process to an online process. Before, there was no need to visit. Today, there is no need to visit. There will never be a need to visit or reside on the island. However, we help you, and now with Zoom and all these technologies that we're using, we get on calls with our clients, we do their paperwork for them, we give them all sorts of advice as to how they have to do their file. Basically, Anastasia, we have done as a company 1,600 files, making an approximate of around 4,000 clients in total. Now, only one thing is required by an Indian investor. There's certain documentations that need to be notarized. They need to notarize those documents in India because it has to be in the country that they're currently living in, and they have to send us scanned copies. The only thing a client needs to physically do is obtain notarization, and all our Indian clients know that it's not a difficult process in India itself.
Thank you for explaining, because I think now this is the fact that worries a lot. Okay, yes, I want to do it, but do I need to fly? I cannot fly. Do I need to wait? No, now it's very clear that there is no need to wait. And I think now we can move to the second part of our webinar, because we discussed the process, we discussed the benefits, we discussed main practical questions that all people ask. And of course, dear friends, if you have any more questions, first of all, we will leave the portion of time to answer live today. But you can also always send us questions, and we will send you the comprehensive answer or organize an online consultation. But let's talk now about investment itself. because we have seen clearly that this is citizenship by investment. It means that the investor has to buy an asset. And you are well-known developer of luxury hotels and with a proven track record. And that's why we are discussing today the option of investment in the hotel shares. So let's talk a little bit about the investment itself. And let's see first the beautiful materials and amazing information about the project that will definitely make you want to go to Grenada right now. So give me 1 second. Okay. So
All right. So basically, as this slide describes ever so well, the investment options and opportunity that we're discussing with our clients today is in a hotel called Six Senses. This is a Six Senses hotel development. For those of you that may not be familiar with it, Six Senses is the highest tier of the Intercontinental Group. And the good news for our Indian clients is that there is a Six Senses spa coming to Delhi very, very soon. It's currently being renovated in the Ashok Hotel in Delhi. You would have to invest in a government approved product. Now, the government obviously only approves products that have a benefit for their own country. And the benefits are simple. They have to create jobs for the people living on the island of Grenada. Now, in order to have these jobs created, combined with the tourism industry that we discussed earlier, the hotels seem to be the most viable option. This hotel of ours, and we are the only developers worldwide that have ever delivered in the Caribbean before, not once, but twice. Hence, now we're on our third project. We're just as invested in the Caribbean as our clients are. You would have to invest a minimum of $220,000 in a government approved project. A lot of people ask, is it more expensive because you guys are a five-star hotel? No, we're not. $220,000 is the minimum amount pegged by the government of Grenada for someone to be able to obtain citizenship. So whether you invest it in something very small or something proper branded that delivers ROI to you, you're still looking at an investment of 220. Now, a lot of clients ask us, what's the exit? We're like, we understand. You need to understand how you exit before you enter. The exit is very simple. 5 years from the day that you become an investor, you're allowed to resell your share to someone who's also looking for citizenship like you were today. However, they may stand on a little bit better ground than you are because the hotel will be ready, it'll be delivering ROI, it'll be a tangible asset, right? The investor today, the original investor, retains their citizenship for themselves as well as for their future generations. The new investor will also be able to apply for citizenship for himself and his family. This is how investor number one makes their money back. A little bit about our hotel. As you can see with the pictures, these are renderings. The Six Senses is known to be of a certain level of luxury, but it also comes with a huge promise of sustainability. It is based around spas. They don't build in high density. There is no, even pre-COVID times, there is no Six Senses hotels that are built in terms of a building, in terms of high density. They are aimed for the luxury traveler, for the five-star traveler. So it's based out around the resort. It's spread out really well. And now in a post-COVID world, we see these kind of resorts becoming ever so more popular. Over the past 4 months, the demand our other hotels have had from Americans, not for citizenship and not for investment, just to get away to the closest ports that will give them some peace of mind and luxury at the same time, has been the Caribbean, one of the most happiest destinations right now in our current state of minds and world.
Thank you very much. And the hotel looks amazing. And what is very important to mention here that range developers have already delivered luxury hotels in the Caribbean, not once, but twice. They're there, they're working. You can see that they already generate the business, provide work opportunities, and bring benefits to the whole country. So this part is very clear, but of course we have many questions about investment itself. So even though you touched briefly on some of them during your presentation, I'd like to discuss some of them a little bit more. So
Sure.
the first thing that the program allows three ways of investment. Investment in the hotel shares, investment in the real estate, approved real estate, or donation. The preferred option is hotel shares. And of course, you are developers of the hotels, but there is a reason why. So can you please say once again, what are the benefits of investing in the hotel share?
Sure. First of all, Anastasia, the hotel shares are also classified under real estate investment in the country. So whether it's a title deed or it's an investment in a hotel, all of them qualify as real estate investments. And that's why we are a government approved product. Now, there's a slight difference, but not so slight, between shares and title deed. First of all, title deeds that are given in hotels are not the same understanding of a title deed that you get when you buy a house. When you're a title deed investor in a hotel, you own 1/6 or 1/8 of one hotel room. So you
Does
have
it mean,
five.
does it mean that I have 6 or 7 other owners who I don't know and who stand next
Exactly.
to my name?
On the same title deed as you. And that is a very, very risky proposition. In order, if someone wanted to buy a hotel room, it would cost them something on top of 1.8 million and above. And that's not the game that people are here to play. So if you do the $220,000 investment in a title deed, you're only getting 1/6 or 1/8 of a title deed. Now, please bear in mind that before you become an investor, due diligence is done on you. Correct? Fair enough. Everyone's clean when they get in. However, there's no guarantee that someone after becoming an investor might not commit fraud, might not commit any other sorts of crimes, but let's stick to the, fraud and, the money laundry ones. Or their children might. So long story short, you're sitting there, 5 other people on a title deed with you. You have no idea who they are. You have no idea what they're doing in life. In case they run a fraud or a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme of any sort, and those papers come out, the compliance in your bank will be calling you first thing in the morning and saying, you are partners. You own a holiday home. You own a hotel room with Mr. X, Y, and Z who has committed this and that and that.
And you
It's
don't even
very,
know who this Mr. XYZ is.
you have no idea, but today, if I am going to go on a title deed with someone else, how do I not know who they are? I should. We see that in India a lot. Family businesses are quite strong. People are partners with their brothers and brother-in-laws and cousins, but no one's randomly going to come buy an apartment with me when they meet me the first time because they don't know. Fair enough. However, when you purchase an investment through a limited liability share structure in a hotel, you are one, anonymous. Two, every investor is independent to the other one. Why? Because it is structured as a trust real estate. It is a real estate trust where 575 people, a number given to us by the government, are under it. They're all independent to each other. They're all anonymous. Their name isn't on a title deed. Their name isn't on a registry anywhere. Under a trust. They're equal to each other and independent to each other. And in terms of ROI, The bigger advantage here, that the more obvious advantage is, if I'm contributing towards building this hotel, I should also be able to benefit from the resort facilities when it comes to my ROI. Water sports, spa, F&B. A lot of Caribbean cruises come to the Caribbean. They may not stay the night, but they definitely wine and dine at the hotels. And this allows it to be fair, to be extremely transparent when it comes to auditing, where all 575 own everything in the resort equally, as opposed to my room got rented and yours didn't.
I think this is all very important points to consider that are not so obvious when you just start the process. And because you have done it with previous hotels, you do have experience on return as well. This is another question that we are asked frequently. If it's an investment, if it's share, will I get any income? What is my return? Can you please expand on that question?
Sure. Investing in the Caribbean, first and foremost, is to obtain citizenship. It is everyone's number one goal. No one joined you and I today here because they want to buy something in the Caribbean and not get a citizenship. So that's the priority. However, as you correctly said, you are investing, you are entitled to ROI. There has to be a system that works here. I have to really stress the fact that when we discuss the Caribbean and hotel investments, we discuss capital preservation a lot more than we discuss capital gains. Extremely
Very.
transparent with our investors, Anastasia. You and I go way back, and we don't mislead our clients just in order to, pass one season on to another. There is ROI, and as I said, you are entitled to ROI from the entire resort. And from the past experiences, the Park Hyatt and St. Kitts and the Kempinski in Dominica, it's estimated to be between 2 to 5% annually. However, capital preservation is different. You are able to exit $220,000 later, 5 years, locked in for 5 years. The new buyer, just like you, isn't looking to just invest in the Caribbean. He's also looking for a citizenship. New buyer gets citizenship. Original buyer maintains his citizenship for himself and future generations. And the whole process is done by, whether it's us, Global Citizen Advisory, any consultancy, immigration, citizenship law firm in the world. These guys are not limited to us. We don't hold them. They're allowed to do as they please. They fully own this share investment. That is why the government has also given us a quota. Every project in the Caribbean has a quota. 575, given the size of my project. My project is 100 suites. It's 100 bungalow suites. You're competing with 574 other people. You're not competing with 50,000 people. And the price is already dictated by the government. The new buyer has to pay 220 if he wants a citizenship. Whether he pays you, who will be the only five-star hotel running in the island because nothing else is being constructed currently, or he can go and buy an off-plan project that's coming up next.
I think what you're saying now is extremely important for every investor because, yes, of course, the citizenship is the ultimate goal, whether it's for the reason of relocating to the United States, traveling, security for the family, but it's very important to understand that you invest in something solid. And yes, there is a track record. What is very important, shares provide you the option on visible return, on transparent return, and there is also a clear strategy for exit in 5 years when the necessary period to holding the shares finishes. One more question that we are asked, and I want to ask it as well. What happens if my application is not approved by the government? What happens to my share? What happens to my investment?
Sure. In the beginning, when we get the process starting, you don't pay everything. So as we mentioned before, You pay a 10% deposit. The 90% you pay when you get approved. So the deposit which lays with us in terms of the deposit for the investment, we refund to our clients. It's in our paperwork, it's in all our contracts. However, to get the ball rolling, they have to pay the government their due diligence fees, their application processing fees, and their legal fees for that file to be submitted and reviewed. In case they get rejected, those they lose. But they don't have to make an investment any further, and their deposit that's with us gets refunded to them.
Mariam, thank you very much. Thank you very much for very clear answers to our questions. Dear friends, we are now open to accept your questions in case we haven't answered. And in the meantime, let me just show you what is the process and what should be the next steps. Just 1 second. Okay. So, if you decide that Grenada citizenship could be something of interest, then the next step after viewing this webinar is to arrange online consultation. You can contact us directly. We will arrange a private conference call where we will take all the questions. We will assess your current situation because what we haven't discussed during the webinar, but of course there is a process to assess that whether you are eligible, whether you can apply. We provide the calculation of all the costs, legal costs, legal cost processes, absolutely everything. If the answers are good, acceptable for you as investors and for Grenada government from the point of view of your compliance documents, then we will help to provide to prepare and submit all the documents. The next step, and it's important to understand that this is a payment of 10% reservation deposit, lawyers and government fees. Then there is submission. I would like to stress once again that everything can be done online. There is no need for your physical traveling anywhere, and we will support you every step of the way. Then we leave it with the government to do their job and to consider the application. And for you, we will keep you informed, and as soon as the government approves, we inform you that your application is approved, and then you proceed with the rest of investment and you receive the ownership certificate and Grenada passport. Okay, so now let's go back to the questions and let's see if there are any questions that we haven't answered during our webinar. So the first question is again connected to return on investment. So Mariam, once again, what is the return on investment and is it a guaranteed return?
It's estimated, and the estimation is based, one, on the hotel operator itself, who's Six Senses in this case, and it's also estimated on the performance of the last two hotels that we have in the Caribbean. It's approximately between 2 to 5% annually.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me see if there are any other questions.
Anastasia, there's a question regarding tax as well. Let me just touch base on that one. In terms of tax, we get asked by Indian clients quite a bit. A lot of our Indian clients, obviously the United States and the E2 is really important. However, tax is something that is very, very scary because once they become a green card holder, they're taxed on their global income. And that is something for an investor who's got a lot of assets in India, it's extremely uncomfortable. Now, the Grenada part of the story is really simple. Grenada is a tax-free jurisdiction. It's a tax-efficient jurisdiction. So you would only pay tax in Grenada if you lived in Grenada for more than 6 months on your income in Grenada. So when you become a Grenadian citizen, your assets in India, your income in India, your assets anywhere in the world are safe, completely safe from paying taxes to Grenada. Now, in terms of the E2, in case just the main applicant, not the family, family can live in the US for years on years on years, full year, full 360 days a year. If the main applicant can manage to not be in the US for more than 122 days, they don't play global taxation anymore. So, as a Grenadian, no longer Indian, with residency outside India, and also managing not to be there for more than 122 days, obviously, you have a passport that gives you global mobility. You can stay in the UK for 6 months a year on a Grenadian citizenship without a blink of an eye. You can avoid to pay global taxation, reduce your Indian taxes as well, and your country of citizenship doesn't tax you either.
I think this is again in the time of very high taxes in certain countries. This is one aspect that should be considered. We have another question. After how much time staying in Grenada we can apply for E2 visa?
My dear, you don't have to stay in Grenada at all. You can stay wherever in the world that you are, get your Grenadian citizenship, doesn't need you to visit, doesn't need you to resign. After you get your Grenadian citizenship, I'll give you a real life example of an Indian out of India. After he got his Grenadian citizenship, obviously consulted with a couple of lawyers. There are really good E2 lawyers in India themselves, by the way. I have to say, we've been extremely impressed. They prepared their business plan, they acquired a business, and they just went for their interview. Now, many at that time, because it was pre COVID, chose let's not do the interview in the American consulate in Mumbai or Delhi, which you can. You can do it all sitting there in India. They decided let's do it in Dubai or Barbados. For the trip and in terms of Barbados, they visited Grenada at the same time because they wanted to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What about hurricanes? Are there hurricanes in Grenada?
Good question. We had to deal with the hurricane story when we were constructing in Dominica, actually. When we were constructing the Kempinski in Dominica, we had a hurricane. It affected the island, unfortunately, quite severely. But Citizenship by Investment came to the rescue. We have a huge sustainability program. We give back to the communities that we are a part of. These are all, whether it's schools or cricket teams or youth centers, got back up on our feet. And the hotel, however, other than broken windows, didn't suffer because we built by international standards. That's why international five-star brands trust us. However, in Grenada, unlike Dominica and St. Kitts, they are not in the hurricane belt, so to speak. They are further away from it. They are safer from it.
Okay. There are some other questions that we want to go once again. Again, there is a question that we need to touch once again. Some people thought that we first get to Grenada, and from Grenada we apply for E2 visa. And how much E2 visa costs for holders of Grenadian passports?
All right. Don't need to go anywhere. Process is done from anywhere in the world that you are. And regardless, whether it's India, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Cyprus, you don't need to go anywhere. That's the law of the country. Now, in terms of how much does an E2 cost, that's a very interesting question. The E2 should cost you, in terms of legal fees, between $15,000 to $25,000. The rest of whatever you pay towards E2, you are buying a business in your name. So minimum is advised to be 100,000. We've seen many approvals with 100,000, but it depends. Do you want to open a $100,000 business? Do you want to buy a $1 million franchise? Or do you want to buy an existing SME? What you invest in the E2 is completely up to you. The only charges are the legal fees.
The next question is regarding education of my children in Grenada. Would it be possible we just, guys, if that's the question, we will send you more information. But once again, there is an excellent university that can help your children should they wish to study medicine. Uh, Another question, when I invest, can I see the construction pictures, the construction site?
My dear, you can see everything before you invest. It isn't a tit for tat. We have two properties that have been reviewed by CNN Travel, Forbes magazine, Condé Nast. Anastasia and her team have that presentation. Let us show you what we've already built, and then we'll show you what we are currently building as well. And it's not linked to your investment. You're more than welcome to this information.
Thank you very much. Uh, Thank you very much for your questions. There is another question, and that will be the last question that we cover today. If you have any more questions, please send them directly to us, and we will provide you with all the information and all the answers. And the question is about dual citizenship, and is dual citizenship allowed for Indian? Let's repeat once again what was said during the webinar because it is a very important subject. So please, Mariam.
Your country, being India, doesn't allow you dual citizenship. The country of Grenada does allow you dual citizenship. So, in case you become a Grenadian and then you want to pursue an American citizenship, it doesn't hinder you in any way. However, as an Indian, there is a wonderful solution provided by the Indian government. It's a very, very old solution actually, called the OCI, Overseas Citizens of India. You can apply after you get your citizenship of Grenada. You can apply for your OCI. OCI allows you to travel freely, unlimited number of times into India a year. It allows you to own real estate, commercial and residential. It allows you to hold your bank accounts. It also allows you to have businesses in India. You're in no way at risk. Let's say maybe your next generation decides that, we don't want to be Grenadian. We want to go back and being Indian. For whatever reason it is, it doesn't matter. You can always give up your your OCI card and reclaim your Indian citizenship.
Okay. Thank you very much. And again, even though I said that's the last one, because they're easy questions, let's just put them together, and then it's definitely the last question. So the question is, do we need to stay minimum 5 years before we sell our citizenship? And also, after I sell my shares, do I ever need to come to Grenada? How do I think the question is connected with renewal of citizenship. Can I do it without going to Grenada?
Yes. Once you acquire citizenship by investment, you are a citizen for life. Their laws doesn't want you to visit, it doesn't want you to reside. However, if you do relocate to the United States, it's a beautiful destination. You can stay at the hotel for free because you're an investor. We do encourage you and welcome you to come to Grenada. We do encourage and welcome you to come stay at the Six Senses. However, you don't have to. There's no requirement on that. You're locked in for 5 years. 5 years later, when you resell, you retain your citizenship for yourself and future generations. Where do you renew your citizenship? Just like you would if you were an Indian living outside India, you would renew your citizenship in one of India's consulates or embassies. Same applies to Grenada. You don't need us because you've done it via citizenship, by investment, through the law of the country. However, if you are in the area, if you are in Dubai, the consulate is here, and we can always make an introduction and help make the process easier for you.
Mariam, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on our webinar. I'm very happy that we managed to cover so many important questions. And dear friends, Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us anytime. It will be our pleasure to assist you and your families. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me, Anastasia. Thank you for you and your team and your always wonderful relationship and your help. And we look forward to helping and assisting your clients in our best way possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very much. Everyone, have good evening and hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye.
Bye.